18th, 2025. If you would, please silence your cell phones and any other electronic devices. And please stand for the prayer by Josh Ward with Turning Point and our Planning Commissioner for at-large, Mayor appointed position, and pledged by Councilman Gautier.
Heavenly Father, we thank you tonight for another opportunity together to attend the business of the city. We pray that you would preside over us, that you would help us, Lord, to further and push the things that we need to make this the greatest city that there can be. May each of these councilmen and decisions that they make and protect all of our public services as they work for our city. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilman and former Mayor Gautier, and thank you, Mr. Ward. I also would like to announce that Councilman Jackson is out of town on work and family business, so he is participating by phone this evening, and Councilman George had technical difficulty trying to call in, and so he will not be attending the meeting this evening by phone or in person. Do we have any changes to the agenda, Ms. Shancy?
No, Mayor, other than the fact that you have a corrected business agenda item number 40.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Shancy. That brings us to, do we have any motion to approve the agenda order of approval?
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Gautier. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman College. Any discussion? All in favor? Councilman Jackson? Aye. Motion carries. That brings us to our announcements by Ms. Shancy.
Tasty Thursday will be March 27th, 2025, starting at 11 a.m. at the former City River Mall property. Food trucks and egg pictures, including a paid zoo and Easter egg hunt, will be April the 5th, starting at 11 a.m. at the former City River Mall property. And Shepherd State Park Community Campout will be April the 12th through April the 13th, with check-in beginning at 1 p.m.
Thank you, Ms. Shancy. That brings us to our presentation agenda, and we have a presentation for a proclamation recognizing Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. Is there anyone here with the Gautier Community Home? Okay. We will read the proclamation and present it to them at the home. A proclamation recognizing Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. Whereas more than 47,000 children and adults in the state of Mississippi have intellectual or developmental disabilities. And whereas every March we celebrate Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month to honor the diverse talents, dreams, and achievements of people with developmental disabilities. Whereas Mississippians with intellectual or developmental disabilities have the ability and the right to work, worship, learn, and enjoy life, whatever they choose. And whereas Mississippians with intellectual or developmental disabilities contribute significantly to their schools, families, relationships, neighborhoods, faith, communities, and workforce. And whereas people with intellectual or developmental disabilities deserve the total support, respect, and acceptance of all citizens of our state. And whereas all citizens are encouraged to recognize the unique strengths and contributions of people with intellectual or developmental disabilities, and that they enrich the state of Mississippi and make it a better place to live for everyone. Now, therefore, we, Casey Vaughn, Mayor and Council of the City of Gautier, Mississippi, hereby proclaim the month of March 2025 as Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Gautier, Mississippi to be affixed on this, the 18th day of March 2025. That brings us to our business agenda. One, resolution approving FY 2025 budget amendments by Ms. Montgomery.
As you know, we usually do the budget amendments and they're supposed to be done in July. Given as this is the last year of your term, we're doing them now in March because the expenditures are limited during the last quarter of your term, of your final term. These are basically cleanup, budgeting, new revenue. I had to do some adjustments on the bonds. I preliminarily budgeted the bonds before I knew the exact cost of the bonds or what the actual proceeds would be. So I'm budgeting those additional proceeds, adjusting the fees. Do y'all want me to go through them by fund? Do you have any questions? There's nothing major in these. It's just basically cleanup.
And that was all attached on the agenda and everything. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Montgomery. Any public comments on business agenda item number 1? Do we have a motion by council to approve the FY 2025 budget amendments?
So moved.
Motion by Councilman College. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Gilat. Any discussion? Starting with Councilman Elvin.
No discussion.
Councilman Anderson.
No.
Councilman College.
No comments.
Councilman Gilat.
No bonuses, huh?
Councilman Jackson.
No comment.
Okay. We got a motion by Councilman College, a second by Councilman Gilat. All in favor? Councilman
Aye.
Jackson. Motion carries. That brings us to business agenda item number 2, approve revised step plan for certified police officers and authorize a pay adjustments by Ms. Yancey.
Thank you, Mayor. If you'll recall, at the budget year, we made a real effort to research and try and bring our police and fire up even with the surrounding cities, particularly Oceanside. The sheet on the back that we're revising, one of the things that was basically a mistake that we made was that they had 1, 2, and 3, and we had years 1, 2, 3 instead of steps. That caused a little difference to where we didn't really achieve what we wanted to. So if you'll notice on your revised step plan, the years are now gone and it's just the steps. It's also different insofar as sergeants and lieutenants, the hourly amount, annual amount has increased, but the annual amount has decreased by 0.5% through years steps 2 through 5. So basically, we're just doing this. It's not going to have an impact to the budget in the sense that we are not filling 2 positions to absorb this, and it will make us competitive as we try to do in the new year.
Thank you, Ms. Yancey. Any public comments on business agenda item number 2? Okay. Do we have a motion by council to approve the revised step plan for certified police officers and authorize pay adjustments?
So moved.
Motion by Councilman College. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Elvin. Any discussion? Start with Councilman Elvin.
This is great, and I'm glad to see this. But being that they're raising the rates for the police officers, will there be any provisions made in the next budget for your dispatchers and your
That's being
staff
addressed as
personnel?
well, but what's being addressed with them fits within what you've already adopted.
Okay, that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman Elvin. Councilman Anderson.
Yes, is this kind of just keeping us up with our sister cities
Yes,
pay?
that's what I was trying to do in the beginning of the budget year. So they had 1, 2, 3. We did years 1, 2, 3. Well, they weren't, that's not how they do it. So he did a FOIA request to find out that it wasn't years, it was steps. So they might put somebody on step 4 where we had them at year 1. So I'm just trying to achieve by taking those years off and doing based on the information he got, just trying to make us competitive with all the other cities, which is what we were trying to accomplish at the beginning of the budget year. So this just cleans it up and accomplishes what we set out to do.
Okay, have we had a big outflow of police officers, or?
We're trying to, well, it's hard to get officers, period, these days.
Yeah,
But nonetheless, what we want to do is retain the good officers that we have, in addition to filling our vacancies.
I see. All right, thanks, that's all I got.
Councilman College,
No comments.
Councilman Gilat,
No comment.
Councilman Jackson.
No comment.
I just want to thank our city manager and our police chief for their work trying to be competitive with other cities in Jackson County and throughout the state. And it's a nationwide shortage, as we all know, in public safety. And everybody is doing their best to try to recruit them. So we thank you all for your hard efforts to be competitive. We got a motion by Councilman College, a second by Councilman Elvin. All in favor? Councilman?
Aye.
Thank you, Councilman Jackson. Motion carries. That brings us to business agenda item number 3, approval of change order number 1 for the nanofiltration water treatment plant by Ms. Yancey.
So this project, the building and the hookups for the I call it the inside of the building, but the treatment skids and the tanks and things like that, were done through a $2.5 million core, or 219 grant through the core, so that you're basically not bidding it, you're not awarding it, the core's doing everything, and you are a third-party beneficiary. You are cost sharing as a public entity. We set this up so that the city bid and purchased the skids, or the internal part of the treatment plant. And it was contemplated at the time that once the skids were completed, they would be delivered to the Corps contractor to install. We cleared everything with the Corps, and they asked us, when we went out to bid, to go ahead and bid them because of the lead time, that we were coming up on their last review. Well, that last review didn't happen until the end of last year, and they just awarded the contract recently. So that made the logistics not work out. So these skids are complete, and the company that made them will no longer store them. So they came to us and said, you need to accept delivery. These items, once delivered, we have to make sure, first of all, it takes a crane and a forklift. They have to be stacked appropriately. They have to be inventoried to make sure that they arrive in good condition and that they meet what we're supposed to have. The problem with that is no one with the city is really equipped to do that. Max Foot is actually the contractor that got the bid on the project. So for warranty purposes and for your own protection, it is smarter to let the contractor, who is well versed in this, offload the equipment, stack it properly, inventory it. We have the building, into the pipe building back here that we purchased and had put up to put part of the skids in. Some of the other parts will be actually in Howard's shop back there. But they're supposed to, then the contractor, the Corps contractor who's building the building will come, when they get to that point, come get them from there and install them. So I had a meeting with the engineer and the contractor, and this is the price that he gave us to come and do that. And I think it is in the city's interest to have that contractor do that for a multiplicity of reasons, but mainly to ensure that they are stacked properly, warranty continues, and we stack them and accept them and get what we paid for. So that's basically what this 32.5 is for.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Yancey. Do we have any public comments on business agenda item number 3? No. Do we have a motion by council to approve change order number 1 for the nanofiltration water treatment plant?
So moved.
Got a motion by Councilman Gilat. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman College. Any discussion? Starting with Councilman Elvin.
No discussion.
Councilman Anderson?
Yes, it says on here that they finished these things, building them in 2023 sometime.
That's the part that I said, the letter, I said that we reissued it without that letter. That's not what we're considering tonight. However, I have no I don't know that that's actually the case. So that part has not been solved or resolved yet.
Okay, but they're asking for storage back to that point in time.
They are, and I've told them that they're not entitled to it, so we'll see where it goes.
Okay, and we're moving them under our building back here for storage. And we've got to hire them to come here for $32,000 to take them off with big equipment, stack them, cover them, and store it, protect it. When we move it to the new building that the Corps is gonna build, and we don't know when they're gonna do that, it looks like.
Well, we do know, they awarded the contract, they're having a pre-bid conference, and I mean.
Pre-bid or pre-con?
Help me out.
Pre-construction.
Pre-construction is what I'm trying to say.
Pre-construction.
Conference, and the notice to proceed will be issued, and they will start construction. Now, exactly when, within the construction time, they will need them, I don't know. Last I left off, the Corps told me somewhere between 250 days and 350 days, so I have no idea. But when those are removed from that building, the reason that I was so willing to put it up is the utility department and people back there can use that covered storage once the skids are gone. So
Yeah.
it's not just a waste.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Let me ask you this, do we have to get the same vendor to come back with the heavy equipment and spend another $32,000 for them to move it from this spot to that?
It's in the, as I stated, it is in the contract that the Corps has issued, that that contractor will get the equipment and install it. So that's up to the Corps contractor. Get the
To move it
skids
from
and
here
install
to
it,
there?
yes.
Okay, that's all I got, thank you.
Councilman College,
I have no comments.
Councilman Gilat.
You said they're having a pre-construction,
The Corps is having
Now?
no, not right now,
but you know,
but within the next week, they are
Within-
having a pre-construction conference with, I can't remember the name of the company, but the company that was awarded the contract.
okay.
Max
Is anybody from,
No.
Southern something out there, I can't remember.
who from the cities, will somebody from the city be in
Me
that?
and Ramona,
You and Ramona?
and
Okay.
probably H2O.
Yeah, okay, all right.
But the Army Corps is doing construction oversight on the project.
And based
Yes.
upon that meeting, would somebody issue an email of what's going on?
Well, I'm just going for informational purposes. Like I said, we are a third-party beneficiary, so we don't really direct anything.
I understand that.
Yeah, but yes, if I get any information, I will certainly let you know.
Pass it on?
Yes.
Okay.
May I say something else?
When everybody's done,
I'm
Councilman.
done.
I'd like to say one more thing about the Corps of Engineers.
Yeah, I'll come back to you when all of them's finished,
Okay.
Councilman Anderson.
Okay.
Councilman Jackson?
Yes, no, I'm good.
Okay, thank
No
you.
comment.
Thank you. Go ahead, Councilman Anderson.
In all reality, the Corps of Engineers should have started this project in 2023, mid-2023, and they're the ones that's held us up. It sounds like they probably should be doged by Elon Musk for their failure in this for, what, 3 years now, 2 years? That's all I gotta say.
Thank you, Councilman Anderson. I just want to thank our city staff, and I do want to thank our federal delegation to continue to help fund projects here in Gautier for water clarification. And as you know, dealing with them, once they award the money, dealing with different agencies can be time consuming. But I encourage everybody to still follow our social media pages and website. We do press releases as we get the information. So the information that was provided last in the last press release still is how it is now until we get that update after that meeting if they provide one. So we will once again immediately provide the citizens with a press release update on our social media outlet and also the app when we get updates on this water filtration system for this southern part of the city. That brings, we have a motion by Councilman Gilat, a second by Councilman College, all in favor? Councilman Jackson?
Aye.
Motion carries. That brings us to business agenda item number 4. Consider a request for a 51-foot variance to front yard setback requirements for an accessory building in a R1 low-density, single-family residential zoning district located at 2115 Pontotoc Cove, Gautier, Mississippi, GPC number 25-06-BAR by Planning Director, Mr. Scott Ankerson.
Thank you, Mayor. The planning department has received this request from Mike Blake. The application fee of $175 was paid on January 29, 2025. All public notice requirements have been met. This request consists of an application by Mr. Blake, who would like to build a 24 by 35 garage on his adjoining lot. This home sits at the end of a cul-de-sac, and as council is aware, the Unified Development Ordinance requires for accessory structures to be behind the front building line of the primary structure. If you take note of the diagram that's shown on the back of the narrative page of the application, you'll see where Mr. Blake is proposing to place this structure, and you'll see the building line. Because of the angle, the primary structure was built on that lot. It would be very difficult for him to place this structure behind that front building line. I'll add that the topography is not in his favor in this instance. It does drop off pretty quick in the back. And for these reasons, the Planning Commission heard this. Their recommendation was that they recommend council approve the variance based on the unique characteristics of the lot and the position of the primary structure. The City Council may approve the variance request that is presented, approve the variance request of the changes, or deny the variance request. And again, I've included the application in the meeting, minutes from the meeting. And I'll answer any questions that you may have for the rest of my vote.
Thank you, Mr. Ankerson. Do we have any public comments on business agenda item number 4? Do we have a motion by council?
I'll make a motion, we accept the planning commission's recommendation and approve the variance.
We got a motion by Councilman College. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Gilat. Any discussion, starting with Councilman Eldon?
No discussion.
Councilman Anderson?
No discussion.
Councilman College?
No comments.
Councilman Gilat?
No comment.
Councilman Jackson?
No comment.
Okay. We have a motion by Councilman College, second by Councilman Gilat. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Blake. That brings us to business agenda item number 5, approval of the docket of claims. They were provided by Ms. Montgomery online. They're available to the council and to the citizens. That is the presentation. Do we have any public comments on business agenda item number 5? No. Do we have a motion by council?
Make a motion, we approve the docket of claims, provide that all entries are on a true, correct, properly entered, and not fraudulent.
We got a motion by Councilman College. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Gilat. Any discussion? Starting with Councilman Ellen?
No discussion.
Councilman Anderson?
No discussion.
Councilman College?
No comments.
Councilman Gilat?
No comment.
Councilman Jackson?
No comment.
All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you, Councilman Jackson. That brings us to our consent agenda. They'll be approved all in one motion unless somebody wants to remove one.
I'd like to remove item number 1. So we go to item number 1.
Okay. Councilman College has requested we remove number 1. Anybody else want to remove a consent agenda item? Do we have a motion to approve consent agenda items 2 through 3? 2, approval of the water and sewer 2 through 4, I'm sorry. To approval of water and sewer adjustments for March 2025 in the amount of $12,487.26. 3, approval of a non-exclusive use agreement with Diamond Dogs for Gautier's youth baseball and softball fields, including adjacent facilities at Buddy Davis Park. 4, approval to accept monetary donations for the City of Gautier's baseball and youth league.
So moved.
Got a motion by Councilman College. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Gilat. All in favor? Councilman Jackson? Motion carries. That brings us to consent agenda item number 1.
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes of regular council meeting held March 4th, 2025 with the following changes. Order number 051-2025, which is the belt canopy demo item. Bottom of the page needs to be corrected to read that Rusty Anderson made the motion instead of Adam College.
Okay. We have a motion to approve the minutes from the regular council meeting held March the 4th, 2025 with correction by Councilman College. We have a second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Elbin. All in favor? Councilman Jackson?
Aye.
Motion carries. That brings us to our study agenda. That will be discuss citizen comments. You come to the front, you state your first and last name, and you have 3 minutes. First up is Gracie. Okay. Mr. McClendon.
Who was it?
Mr. McClendon? Miss McClendon, I'm sorry, it just had a D. I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Hi, everyone. I'm here again because we're in the
State your first and last name, Miss McClendon, I'm
Clinton,
sorry.
Indiana, and I'm at 1512 Kingfisher Drive. Okay. I've been here before. It's about the property damage where they keep running down my mailbox or the fence. Well, it just happened again within 2 weeks. Mine and to the neighbor to the right of me. And I talked to several neighbors, and it's still the same thing. We have the concern of the speed signs there, but they're going way over the speed limit. I'm talking like 40, 45, 50, and you know, and like I said, it's one stop sign to my right. They hardly stop at that sign, and like me and the neighbors, supposed to be more of us here, but I guess they'll email you or whatever. But the same thing, we have the concern over the kids that are walking, and you will see, well, some of the neighbors, they come out and they chase the people down and tell them, will you please quit speeding through here, because it's kids. And, you know, we have a concern for that.
Yes, ma'am. Is that all you have, Ms. McClendon? Is that the only thing you had for us?
Yeah,
Okay.
the speeding.
So, Ms. Shancy, can you and Chief Bever get with Ms. McClendon, and let's try to, maybe if we can ask for some patrol. Chief, you want to address it?
I can tell you, nothing's been reported to us since January 1st. So if we get it reported to us, we know about the problem. Yeah. You guys
Okay.
Just start calling us and let us know when this happened. We can
Okay.
identify it.
Okay, Ms. McClendon.
Oh.
Will you ask all the neighbors to start calling the dispatch and reporting it to the police when they see a speeder or they see it? And then if we can address maybe that speed thing we had, if it's working, if we can put that in the area maybe to detour some of it, if we can.
We'll do that.
Okay.
Ms. McClendon, I came out and looked at their situation once already, and where they went across the corner of the fence and tore it up. And did you ever put any posts down or anything
I'm
there?
saving for that now. Yeah.
I'm sorry?
I'm saving for that now.
Are you?
Yeah,
But it's happened since I was out there again.
yes.
It seems to be a continuous problem with that. And I'm sure our police chief would do something. Y'all gonna have to call it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
McClendon. We'll get with you. And we'll get with your councilman, who is Councilman Elbin and
I think
Councilman
it's me
College.
now.
That side of the road, I think, is Councilman Elbin.
Oh, is it?
The other side of the road is you, Councilman Anderson.
Yeah, change.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Riverside splits.
Can we possibly load her some spike strips to lay across her yard?
I suggested she do that on that corner there, which is well up in her yard, you know. That would take care of it.
Thank you, Ms. McClendon. Will you please share that with your neighbors, and we'll
Definitely.
try to, thank you for coming. We appreciate you. That brings us to our councilman comments, because Mr. Blake was here only for his agenda item, and Mr. Greg Canada has decided he does not want to speak this evening. That brings us to our Councilman Elbin.
As always, thank you to the employees, our contract partners, and all the work that you do each and every day to move our city forward. We couldn't do it without you. Thank you.
Thank you. That all you got, Councilman Alvin?
Yes.
Councilman Anderson?
I have no comment.
Okay. Councilman College?
I have no comments this evening.
Thank you. Councilman Gilat?
No comments.
Wow. Councilman Jackson?
No comment.
We wish you safe travels back home. Councilman George is having technical difficulties.
All right, you got 3 minutes.
That brings me to me. I just want to thank our city staff, Ms. Yancey, Kim Sosha, all the employees, every department that went above and beyond on a Friday afternoon to recognize Speaker of the House Representative, Mr. John Reed. It was a great evening if you missed it, but he was very honored to receive the recognition, and he is so deserving of it. So if you see him, please thank him for everything he continues to do for Gautier, Jackson County, and the state of Mississippi. Also today, I want to thank my fellow classmate in the first graduating class and who is the career coach at Gautier High School in room 327. And that is Miss Amanda Stubbs. She really has worked hard, and she really does for our youth and our community. And as the career coach, she hosted today with community partners, partnering together to have a career day in the gym. And it was a fantastic event spent with a lot of businesses, our military, our public safety. I want to thank our fire and police department for being there. It was just a great day. So if you're out and about and you ever see Ms. Stubbs, thank her for her hard work. Also, we have some new police officers in Gautier that recently have graduated from the academy, and we want to make sure that everybody, if you see them out and about, please thank them and welcome them to Gautier. As always, stay tuned to our social media for things going on in the city of Gautier and our community projects that we have going on. That brings us to our city, and I thank all the city staff for their hard work. City Manager, Ms. Yancey. City Clerk, Ms. Montgomery.
Yes, sir.
City Attorney, Mr. Denos.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do we have a motion to adjourn until April the 1st, 2025 at 6:30 p.m.?
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Gilat. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman College. All in favor? Councilman Jackson? Motion carries. We're adjourned.